How's it going, everyone? So Jennifer will watch the replay. So I know my pear tree, it got almost dead. It Canadian Tire last summer for $10. Revived. Looked like it died over winter and gave up at the end of June, but it's still alive. That's awesome, Jennifer. Tiffany's here as well. Canadian Family Live. Life, not live, but life. I'm curious to see. You've been going up pretty fast too. Almost 3.5. That's awesome. You only started about what, a year ago? You post on a daily basis pretty much. That's pretty, I don't have time to post more than once a week right now. I would have more time in the winter, but in the winter we don't have any content to post. And thank you. I reached 9K overnight. I am currently sitting at 9,006 subscribers. Although it's not showing up on my live streams and on my other stats. I'm only at 227 hours of watch time on the last 28 days. It's not very much. I mean, I get that I'm not posting as much, but still, you would think that out of 9,000 people, at least a couple more would join on my live streams. Might not be the most interesting person to listen to, I guess. Lee's here as well. Hello. Hot enough. Yeah, it was. Even in the hospital, the AC can't even keep up. We're usually around 21 degrees Celsius inside. I mean, there are some girls that are freezing as soon as it drops under 22. But just sitting in my chair, I was sweating yesterday, like way too warm. It was around 25 at some point in the department. Humidity is off the chart. I melted when I watered our plant. Yeah. And we need to water them because my apple trees, my plum trees, like even my pear trees, it's so dry that they're almost dying. Like I have to keep up with the water. I have to water them at least once a week. We've had rain twice in the last month. Last year, I think July, we've had 29 days of rain out of 31. This year, we've had 29 days of warm sun out of 31. Just crazy. We've had rain last week on Thursday and then this week on Thursday, and it wasn't even that much rain. Got me a whiskey and Coke. That's awesome. Outside going in. Awesome, Dave. You must be swimming in tomatoes right now. How's everyone's garden going? I've been harvesting zucchinis, cucumbers for the last week and a half at about 3 to 5 cucumbers and 3 to 5 zucchinis easily. I didn't have time to go to the community garden today. And I probably won't have time to go tomorrow. But if I did, I'm pretty sure I would harvest a bunch of stuff. I should start having squash soon. I have some early prolific squash. Do I have an example here? No. I'm hoping to have some spaghetti squash, and I also planted some of those. Can I hide the light a little bit? Yeah, there you go. I'm hoping to get some. They're pretty cool. I want to have one of each color. That'd be nice. And still waiting to find out if I have some of those, what they're called, the I don't remember what they're called. Those huge squash that get to about 30 pounds. They were gone from the planet. They were extinct until someone found them and was able to grow them. Look what I found. I just can't decide where to put them. I could put them there, but eventually I want to paint the wall, even though I have a sticker there. You wouldn't be able to see them too much, though. Free advertising, Canadian family life. I dropped it. Those stickers are pretty cool. So she'll be back, and she won't know that I talked about her channel a little bit. Full-on harvest of everything. That's awesome. I have some tomatoes growing. They're not ripe yet, and it won't be for another 2-3 weeks. Everything else, everything that grow, like every other perennial, they were ready at least 2 weeks ahead of what they were last year. The only thing that I was not able to harvest yet are the mushrooms. Last year with rain, we've had so much rain that we've had mushrooms from mid-July. I went last week. It was raining Thursday. I went mushroom hunting on Friday, and there was nothing. Nothing at all. I found like 2 tiny mushrooms, 2 chanterelles about this big. Not big enough for a meal. They were starting to pop up, though. We're expecting some showers tomorrow. Kind of hope we don't get rain tomorrow because I have a softball tournament. And it's a tournament for the name of memory of my brother that passed away by suicide back in 2011. Simple Acre Homestead, thank you so much for stopping by. And we do that tournament every year. We've had some teams that were there that were like incredible teams that ended up losing because it's a tournament where people go to have fun. We've had teams where 80% of their players never played softball before, and they had so much fun. Even though they got crushed, they enjoyed themselves. They had fun, which is main reason for playing, really, especially at that tournament. Like, I'm a very competitive person. That tournament, I don't even mind. I've seen some teams coming in with all the best players around, and I would take whoever wants to play. Even my other brother that doesn't play softball at all. A few of my friends that knew my brother that just don't play softball, and we ended up winning the tournament anyway because the best players, it's the one tournament in a year where they don't go to win. They don't play to win. They'll go every other tournament in the season. There might be around 10 tournaments in the season, and then go there to win. But that one tournament that we're playing tomorrow, they want to have fun, drink a beer, and hang out with other people and just chat and enjoy themselves. So a couple of them are too drunk to play by the finals, so they end up losing. But this weekend, I'm playing on that team, so I'm hoping they don't get too drunk. Planting cabbage and Brussels sprouts next week in a spot where I grew bush beans. Awesome. There's something weird happening with my beans. It might be because they're too dry, but then again, they're growing where I have the hose sprinkling like most of the time. There's no reason why they should be dry. But I just grabbed like one yellow bean out of the plant, and the whole plant broke. I heard it like... So I had to pick up all the beans that I could on it, even though some beans were only like 2 inches big. I should have some grapes. My grapes are doing awesome. Just hope... Well, they're zone 3. So they should have time to get bigger, and at some point they're probably only harvested at the end of September. Anyone in zone 4 or 5, grapes are usually around the same time as apples. It's just a question. It's not enough information. I don't know. I started harvesting some peas, but then again, by the time I realized they were ready, well, the kids ate pretty much half of them. I have to go and harvest some radish pods. That's all thanks to Frankie Lou. She's the one that taught me about those radish pods. And honestly, as much as I enjoy the juicy flavor of a real radish, the pods are right up there as well, because you'll have maybe 50 pods on one plant. A lot more nutrients, a lot more flavor. Well, they don't have a more pronounced flavor. They taste the same as radishes, but not as strong. Like, they're not as spicy. So I enjoy them. What else? My girlfriend harvested a few raspberries before I went live. We've been harvesting strawberries for 2-3 weeks, early July. I still have some flowers on my plants. I still have a few tiny strawberries growing, but I'm guessing the season is pretty much done. I'm not gonna have any blackberries this year, although I have some plants that are doing good, should start spreading. I don't know, like, how can I say that? I don't want to have to take my brush cutter and go there and make a few paths. I want to have something on the ground to stop them from growing, but still not have something too big to stop them from growing all over the place. I want to have like maybe a foot wide, maybe a foot and a half, where I could have a little path. So the best thing would probably be to put those silage tarp and put some rocks on top. Either rocks or just straight up put it in the ground. But I'm guessing if I just squeeze it in a little bit, and I put a few tiny rocks at both ends, it should be heavy enough to hold it there. It's only in the spring where the snow would melt, the plants are not high yet, the wind could catch it and throw it away. But I don't know. If you have any ideas on what to do, let me know. I mean, I could build something with lumbers or shavings, or not shavings, but slabs or anything, something like that. But I would need to put a few, and it's hard to walk on that, especially if you want to go harvest fruits. I only have one apple tree this year growing apples, and I might just have like 6 apples on it. But I've seen the wild apple trees around here, and they're pretty full. So I should have a lot of apples regardless. Gooseberries, I only have the one shrub right now that's producing. I have 3 total, but the other ones are still too small. It takes a good 6-7 years before they really get into production, I find. Honeyberries or Camrys, Haskabs, depending on how you want to call them, they take about 4 years by the time you buy them until they start producing. I was able to find a few more apple trees this year. Hopefully they survive. It's weird. It's weird the way nature works sometimes, because I found a few small, tiny apple trees on Sears property, and I told them where they were, and told them if you wanted to have them, I could put like a little ribbon on them so he would be able to identify them or see where they are. And he told me straight up, like, he doesn't want to bother with them if they're too small. He already has a bunch of big ones. He told me I should just go and pick them up if I wanted them for home. They're probably going to be crab apples, but I can always graft on them later. Plus, I don't have any crab apples here. So they're still good pollinators. They're still beautiful trees. I can graft on it. They will help with pollinating other apple trees around for sure. I picked up 4. 2 of them, they had strong roots. I was able to transplant them. Might be losing one right now because of the heat, but the second one is still doing good. 2 more. One of them had a nice root, but the thing is, I picked the first 2 ones on the same day, transplanted them right away. And then I think it was either last Saturday or last Sunday that I picked the 2 other ones, and sales was there. And the first one I got had a pretty, well, about 2 feet long root that came with the tree, that I was able to dig it out and don't break the roots. The second one, I accidentally passed a shovel through the roots. So all I had on the tree was just like a tiny little, about this big of a root with just like 3 or 4 hairs on it. Sales told me just put it in a pot, give it a lot of water, a lot of compost, maybe even rooting hormones to help with the roots, and give it time. And hopefully by late fall, it would be strong enough and have a little bit of roots on it. But guess what? The one with the big long root is the one dying right now. I should probably go, if it's not too warm this weekend and I can have at least one day of rain, I could transplant it and hopefully save it. Maybe the roots need to have like a nice cool spot. I don't know. But the one with just a few hair, that one is doing great. The tree still has a bunch of green leaves. It's still very strong. You can see the tree is taking, like, it's starting to grow even bigger. Like, I mean, not in a way that it's been a week, but like you can see that the energy is still in the tree and it wants to survive. So I should at least have 2 more apple trees that I got for free. And I know a lot of wild apple trees, wild orchards that were abandoned, and people just go and cut the woods. So they're just going to kill those apple trees. I will try to go and grab a few ones, even on my dad's property, instead of just leaving them there to die or to be taken over by other trees or other plants. I will try to bring them home and create an orchard, because most apples are good for something. Even crab apples, you can make jelly. But even if the apples are not like strong, delicious, hard apples, you can make applesauce, you can make jelly, you can make apple pies. It's always good for something. And I don't mind eating an apple, even if it's not that hard. You know what I mean? The blueberries, my mom told me she went last weekend. She was able to harvest like a few butter, plastic margarine, butter containers there, tiny ones. They're usually about 1 cup. So she was able to harvest, give or take, 6-7 cups. She didn't go to the same spot we were last year. Last year was full. I know a few spots where the blueberries are very abundant. Problem is, it's been so dry this summer that I'm afraid that they might not be as good as they were last year. I have a few ones here on my property. I'm glad the kids ended up going outside and they ate them all. They enjoyed them. I'm kind of glad because I thought we were not going to have any good ones. The only ones that were ripe were like kind of dry, not much taste. You would take a bite in them, and it was just like you would take a bite out of I don't know, something that had no taste. But the kids said they enjoyed them. They were good. Apparently, there was just a one bush that was not as good as the other ones. But it's a long weekend for us. I have a few videos to film, but I should have time to go. If not this weekend, at some point next week. It's about 25, 30 minutes away in the woods. So I need to put gas in the vehicle, and it's still a good $20 of gas to get there. I should be able to go next week at some point. I'm on water. I've been drinking 2 of those every day. So 2 liters a day. It's just so warm. Like, I'm always thirsty. I mean, I'm always hungry as well. What else? I have some echinacea. A lot of herbs and plants and flowers. Mullein, echinacea, lavender, my mint. My mint is doing great. What else? I'm not going to have any plums. I'm just hoping to be able to find someone that has a few plum trees where I can go and grab a few ones. And the reason is only because my plum trees are still very, very small. I started buying those little, I don't know what they're called. They're weed barriers for small shrubs and trees. I bought a few at dollar store. They were like 3 for $2. They were just about this big, about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches. But I put that around my shrubs, and I find that it's a lot easier on the shrubs. It keeps humidity level a little bit higher. Plus, it stops the weeds from growing next to the stem or the roots and all that stuff. So it gives the plant bigger chance to grow, I guess. What else has been going on? Trying to think what else is going on other than the garden. Like, I don't want to talk about gardening all day. There's a few things happening in my life right now that I don't want to jinx, so I don't want to talk about it just yet. But I will just say this. Everybody wants things to change, and there's no better way to change things than being part of the solution instead of just being a grumpy old man and complaining about everything. So I should have some news about upcoming plans and projects in the future. What else is going on? I have another week of vacation coming up. I will try to harvest and preserve as much as I can. It's true, the Every Big Count Challenge has started. I also need to start filming for that. I mean, we're on August 2nd. I did a few things yesterday. I don't think I have anything ready to preserve today, unless my girlfriend decides to make some jelly or jam with the raspberries she picked up. Although I was able to freeze a few White currants. I have a few gooseberries already frozen. Um, a few honeyberries as well. I should have a few things ready for the challenge. Uh, I don't remember the name of the channel. That's why I always forget about that challenge, about that collaboration, I should say. But mostly it's about preserving something every day. It doesn't have to be much. It doesn't have to be canning every day. Just, even if you just grab some eggs, you put them in the freezer, or if you, I don't know, dehydrate one thing, um, it counts. So anything you can do to preserve, every bit count challenge is for you. I was going to talk about something else. Oh yeah, every year I try to do um, a new challenge. People don't want to get in. Well, I'm not saying people don't want to get involved. Maybe I'm just not good at promoting. Um, Thank you for stopping by. What life? What life? What life? Greetings. But the challenge, the idea of my challenge is to do a good deed with something that concerns your garden. I've seen some people in the past talk about how they would dedicate a specific part of their garden for family in need, or to give away to someone they know, or for someone that can't really garden. Sorry, I forgot to put the camera back on. um, some people might just be willing to go help someone build their garden. Um, but for me, for the last couple of years, it's been giving away some of the stuff that I harvest, especially when I have too much. I was at the community garden. Was it Wednesday? Was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was Wednesday. And while I was there, a bunch of people arrived to take care of their own aisle. And the guy taking care of the garden, Donald, he was there and he received a bunch of free plants from the local nursery. At this time of year, they don't really have many people going in. They're starting to get rid of their stuff um, because there's a few things, if you don't plant, you just won't get any crop from sweet potatoes. We have about 2 months of growing season with the sweet potatoes before it's too late. If they wait longer than now, um, people won't have time to grow them. Those candy tomatoes, I don't know the exact name, but I think they're considered like candy tomatoes. The bush, it's a tomato bush. It's really big, round bush, big, huge plant. And it's full of those tiny tomatoes. And I don't eat tomatoes. I don't like tomatoes. I tried one and I was actually able to eat it for the first time in my life. I was able to eat a tomato whole. So they're good. So Donald was there giving away some of those plants and planting them wherever there was stuff that didn't grow, or where people harvested their crops already. If someone had radishes planted, they harvested them, and for the last 3 to 4 weeks there was nothing growing there at all, you would plant one of those candy tomatoes there, and it's your aisle. You keep the plant. You can harvest it if you want. So I picked up one of those plant, and I also picked up a few sweet potatoes. They were already growing a nice root, a nice nice potato in their little pots. So I'm guessing once they're in the ground, they should be growing a little bit more. So I planted a few of those where I had some empty spaces. And then I started harvesting my zucchinis. And I know people will eat zucchinis the size of a cucumber, or very small. I was at my brother earlier, and he's like, "Oh man, you have to harvest your zucchinis way before that." But I don't like small zucchinis. I don't like a zucchini this big. I don't like it. I'm not gonna grow zucchini to harvest them as soon as they come out of the plant. It's pointless. I let them grow as much as possible. I mean, even the size of my bottle here, for me, is too small. If they're this size, I leave them there for the next day. And by doing this, I mean, I harvest 4 or 5 big zucchinis every day. If it's not here, it's at the community garden. And I haven't gone to the garden for a few days. So obviously when I got there was like 7 or 8 that were ready to be harvested, and not just ready to be harvested, but they needed to be harvested because at some point you need to pick them up. And there was a bunch of people there. Some of them don't grow zucchinis, and I proposed to give it to them. So they were really happy. Some of those people are a little bit on the older side, I guess, and they can't bend over in a garden, so they all just have one of those big containers. Um, so it's a raised bed basically, um, and I think they're only like 4x6 or 4x8 or maybe 4x8 or 4x6, something like that. They can still grow a lot of food in there, but I mean, if you plant zucchinis in there, you don't have space for anything else. Some of them will plant tomatoes, cucumbers, because they can let the cucumbers fall outside of the bucket up to the ground, so they win a little bit of space that way, and then they can just lift up the plant and harvest their cucumbers. Some of them plant beans, carrots, and a few things like that. So they were just happy that I was able to give them free zucchinis. I brought some at work. I had 2 that were big enough. I figured I'm going to bring them at work, share the bounties. And then someone came to see me after, and she was like, I love zucchinis. I didn't grow any zucchinis for a while, and if you have some more, like, I'm not asking you to give me your stash, but if you have too much and you want to, like, I would take some. I'm like, no worries, I'll bring you some. And today I brought like 3 big ones, and when I gave it to her, like, she was so happy. Oh my god, like, you're giving me those 3 zucchinis? I'm like, yeah, you asked for some, you want some, you're gonna use them, you're gonna do a little recipe with them. And then she was like, she's so happy. She told me, when I do it, like, I'll keep one jar for you. She doesn't need to do that. Obviously, I did it because I like giving. But I'm challenging you now. If you have a garden, maybe you have too much. Maybe you know someone in need. Maybe you know someone that just can't grow a garden, but it would still love to have fresh vegetables. I'm challenging you to give them something. And if you do a post about it, we can use this hashtag GardenD2024. Brendan Looney Tune fan 2000, thank you so much for stopping by. So if we use this hashtag, and it's not about bragging about doing something, it's just about inspiring people to do the same. I mean, I do a lot more stuff than just giving a few zucchinis. It's not stuff that I like to talk about because, it's not about bragging. It's just about sharing either knowledge or, helping someone in need. I'm always happy to go help someone if they need help with their garden. If someone needs something that I have here, and I can, um, share my shrubs or propagate some and help them. I mean, I'm happy to do it. One of the pharmacists had a TV. I think it was at 32 inches. She asked me if I wanted it. She's like, I bought it for the camper, but it doesn't fit where I want it, so I'm gonna need a smaller one, and I'm kind of stuck with it. You want it? I'm gonna give it to you. I'm like, okay, yeah, like sure, I'll take it. And she's like, the only thing I ask in exchange is if you have a few more like raspberry plants or anything like that, that you bring me some. Deal. I should have gooseberries ready soon. I should have one red currant plant that I can share. I also have a few. Um, I can even probably give her an apple tree. Something I find in the wild. If I take good care of it, she can probably have a free apple tree. But she wants a few of those shrubs, and I told her like I might have a few this year. Blackberries, I don't have enough. They're not big enough. They need to spread a little bit more before I can actually share them. But the raspberries, even Donald at the community garden asked me if I could bring some raspberries there. Um, they intend on having a bunch of fruit trees and things like that because he wants people to go there and enjoy themselves. He wants people to go there and connect with other people. Um, the goal is to have that place to grow food, but have everyone work together. He's actually been talking about creating a group or a club or whatever, like gardening club, where people could go work together to make decisions, to give new ideas, because he's been working on his own and he's retired. He's a counselor at the village, which is why he started doing this in the first place. But he wants this to be a legacy, not a full-time job. He wants to be able to give it away to someone else and just sit back and enjoy and see the project grow. It's a huge field. We're only using about 5% of it. So there's definitely more space to be used. Um, but the goal is not just to grow a garden and grow a bunch of stuff. We want to have something organized. We'll have we have a few apple trees, we have a few plum trees, a few pear trees. He wants to have a few of those shrubs and trees around. He has a few honeyberries. He has a few blueberries. The only problem is we have moose and deer going there and eating the blueberries and a few of the crops. People with beets are struggling because the deer go in and they eat the beets. Well, they eat the leaves. I have some lettuce, some red lettuce, and nothing's eating it, which is weird. Last year I had corn, and it was either deer or raccoon that went in there and ate all my corn. So, if we can have a group of people helping each other out, we have free compost, we have free delivery, we have someone who goes there for free to make the aisles, till the garden if we need it. If we can just go there, a bunch of us, and amend the soil, put the compost, and take care of it, he's going to save a lot of time and it's going to be a lot easier on him. I've been pushing for permaculture and use I told him, like I spoke to him a little bit about how to use the space properly. Um, because right now the village has a few students, but they're all working for summer camps. So the village is struggling to have students that can just go and mow the lawn and things like that. They only have like 2, 3 students, and they have other things to do. So they only get them like maybe once a month where they can go and mow the lawn around the trees and stuff. So people are not going to go harvest apples if the weeds is like higher than their face, you know. So I'm pushing to have a setup where you would have small shrubs around the apple trees that could work with the apple trees. Um, Gooseberries, maybe gooseberries, it might not be the best one, but raspberries and blackberries and gooseberries, they have thorns. So if you put them around your apple trees, people are not going to be able to go harvest the apples. But there's nothing stopping us from planting something like mint or lemon balm. Lemon balm can spread, but it doesn't spread that much. Chives, things like that around your fruit trees, around your shrubs, is a good way to control the weeds. And what's the worst that can happen if you have tall lemon balm? Like it never goes higher than 2 feet high. And honestly, I would love to work and walk in lemon balm. Uh, I have some chives, lemon balm, mint growing pretty much all over my property here and there. I have, we were talking about that the other day. I always forget the name just because I need to talk about it. But the wild celery, it's not really called wild celery, but what's the name now? Oh, come on. Anyone remember the name? It's kind of like wild celery. I don't think I have it here. Lovage. Lovage is something pretty cool to have around your fruit trees because, I mean, it smells like celery. Marilyn from Little Homestead by the Beach gave me a mulberry tree, a tiny tree, when we went at the conference in Ontario. It's still alive, it's still doing great. But I realized that I have a bunch of seeds here. So I'm guessing that at some point in January, maybe, I will start planting some of those. What else do I have here other than a bunch of stickers? I have some squash seeds here, and I'm not even sure what kind of squash they are. They could be an hybrid of something. Lime balm. This is something I need to grow. Lime balm seeds. Flowers and popcorn. And this here, garlic. People in the chat. Usually I'm behind. I can't keep up. I might be 10 minutes late reading the chat. And tonight, nobody said anything in the last 10 minutes. What's going on? You guys busy? Or am I that boring? Or a bit of both? Yeah. So I'm willing to get involved in that committee, that club, and I'm pretty sure we can do something awesome with that place because it's huge. There's a lot of space, and it's pretty much limitless, everything we can do there. And the more people we get that wants to get involved, the more people we have to protect the place. Nobody's going to be stealing stuff from the garden if we have people there every day. Not necessarily watching per se, but if I go there tomorrow evening from 6 to 8, the garden is protected from 6 to 8. Nobody's going to go there without me knowing who they are. So if someone comes to complain someone stole their stuff, I'll be good to know who it is. Hello, everyone. I've been in the bushes rinsing blueberries. Awesome. LP, the LP dimension. LP, I think I've seen you here before. You changed your name, right? Getting ready to freeze them. I am in Michigan, and these are Michigan grown. Michigan blueberries fresh in the summer are excellent. Yeah, we have some here as well, and we have to go and get them soon. My mom harvested about 6-7 cups last week. They're in the woods. They take their vacation. They have their trailer next to my uncle's cabin. Well, not a cabin, it's a camp. Huge camp, actually. So my dad and another uncle have their trailer there, and they spend their summer there together. I mean, they all have either a German Shepherd or one other type of dogs, and they just leave them outside all day long, and they just chase rabbits and probably coyotes and things like that, and they hang out and they have fun. It's good for the dogs. My parents and uncles and aunts, they just spend time together and they enjoy themselves as well. And my dad is about to retire. I don't know. Whenever I ask him, he's 66 and retirement age is 65. So whenever I ask him if he's going back, he keeps telling me that he doesn't know. He's expecting to go do another run. He's been working at the mill until the mill shut down in 93, and then he's been truck driver, school bus driver, mechanic. Lately, before he retired, he was working at the mill, the wood mill here, and then it was getting physically hard on him, so he changed to go at the gas station just to pump gas. And in the summer, they had the students, so they give him summer off. He had a surgery anyway. So he's on EI, and he's enjoying summer. My mom has a few days off. My mom works at a nursery retirement home, so she's 4 days working, 4 days off. So if she takes 4 days of vacation, it's giving her 12 days off in a row, which she can enjoy and spend time in the woods. So she only has to do that twice in the summer, and that's basically almost a full month of vacation. So they go out fishing. My dad bought himself. He sold the ATV, and he bought what's it called? I swear I have some brain issues lately. Come on. I'm struggling with my words. It's not a language thing. It's just the word doesn't come in my head. Anyway, he bought something bigger. So they're hunting in the fall. They're fishing in the summer, harvesting blueberries. They're gonna go harvest hazelnuts. Love the sound of your community garden. Makes me want to find a way to get involved in my community garden next year. If you have one, I would suggest you take a look at least. It doesn't cost you anything to give a call and see if there's anything you can do, if there's any way you can help. For us, I mean, it's free. We get an aisle. The only thing they ask is that we remove the weeds. I mean, it's hard to keep up with the weeds, but I've spent a few hours there every day for like a week, like maybe an hour a day for a week, and I was able to keep up and catch up. And my girlfriend came with me for an evening, and we ended up removing all the weeds that needed to be removed. It's free; it doesn't cost us anything, and the aisle is 165 feet long, and they're not that wide. I mean, let's face it, we don't have 10 feet wide, but the way they're made, we can have like two bean bush wide or 3-4 carrots wide. Um, I plant like one zucchini or one squash in the middle because obviously those get pretty big. But I mean, last year I was able to harvest around 1,000 pounds of vegetables there alone. I have been following you for some time. Yes, I had my channel name to my name because I started to post content in March. That is not a request to visit, just an explanation. But it is not a request for me to visit, but it doesn't mean that I can go and visit. And now that you have a channel, you have one more subscriber. And can I do this? No, here, do this, and this. So if you're in the chat, if you're watching or reading on the replay, go help support LP. He has a new channel. Well, not a new channel, but he started posting a few months ago. And I can see that you already have a pretty good amount of videos. Post daily? 15 hours ago, 3 days ago, 9 days ago, 10 days ago, 11 days ago. So, sorry, about every second day. That's awesome. A bunch of new people today. That's awesome. Outdoors with Vance. Hello, hello. Go to the channel. I will check out your channel. I am Vance from Arkansas. I live with my wonderful wife, Melanie, on our childhood home property. Awesome. Big pond stocked with fish. Oh, that's great. That's my dream to have a fish pond. We also have around 11 acres. I like to hunt, fish, trap, and go magnet fishing. You never know what might get onto here on this channel. We have 6 kids, 10 grandkids. That's awesome. I have 5 kids myself. It's a big job, but it's fun. We are Christians and love God. I hope you enjoy my channel. We would like to invite you to subscribe and join our adventure. I work full-time as an EMT for an ambulance service in my hometown. I am also a part-time police officer. That's cool. I was already subscribed to you. I will leave the page open and catch up on some of your videos. Share channel, copy. Foreplay in the bedroom. Okay. I read the title loud, but it was actually a Spider-Man costume. Something kinky's going on there. So another new follower on one of my live stream. When I get new people here, I show them that I care and I share their channels. So you can go and support Vance and his family, and for sure, if you have hunting and fishing videos, those I will watch. It was the first time for me fishing. Awesome. So I've been subscribed for a long time because I've been scrolling for a while. So, yeah, I have a few of your videos watched. So I started watching your videos. I'm guessing your name is Vance. 2 years ago, 500 sub giveaway. You could win a $50 Visa gift card. But even the video before that, good payday, holding scrap, free money. So that was the first video I watched, and I've seen all the videos until, well, I see your first hunting video was already watched, and the last one I watched, still a long time ago, but I mean, still like good, about 20 videos I watched, how to install a door, and I couldn't believe all the fans at the expo. I have to catch up, obviously. I have so many people to catch up on in the winter. It's crazy. Even my friends, like even my close friends, I don't even have time to watch their stuff. And you are very welcome. And even Vance, Outdoors with Vance, go take a look. If you like hunting and fishing and all that kind of stuff. I've been trying to post at least 5 days a week since it's busy season in the garden. There's so much going on. Content is out there waiting to be watched. We noticed, I don't know if it's just me or me and my friend, because actually we were talking about that the other day. In the summer, videos tend to go down a little bit more, the views, I mean. People are busy. People are actually in their garden. I think what we should start doing, and it's something that I could always try, but it's kind of hard to do, is film something now in order to show it in 10 to 11 months from now. And the reason behind it is, first of all, I'm in zone 4. So when I do a video on how to take care of your tomato plants, like I should be doing around this time, people in the States, especially people in Florida, are already done with their tomatoes. And did I say apples? Did I talk about apples? I meant tomatoes. If I start talking about how to take care of my tomato plant, you guys in the States are pretty much all done with your tomatoes already. So if I make a video about what to do and I schedule it for 10 months from now, people will start watching what to do with their tomato plants before it's too late, before they get there. So let's say that I'm about to go harvest blueberries, but I might want to watch a video on what to do with them once I harvest them. So I will watch a video 2 weeks before I actually go out to harvest my blueberries. But like I just said, we are late on pretty much everyone else in the world in our season. So people will not be watching us. They will see some other videos before they see ours. So this is something I want to try. And the fun thing is, I already have a few videos filmed that I just don't have time to do all the editing and post them. And even if I did post them now, it was done a month ago. You know, how to plant a specific thing, it's been done 2 months ago. So I can easily take my time with them, do some filming, put the videos on the hard drive somewhere, and just wait until it's time next year to post them. I'm hoping by doing this, I would get a lot more, well, at least a little bit more views. But in the summer, even just in 2024 in general, I feel like when whatever happened in 2020, people were home, not doing much, and gardening went up. People wanted to homestead. People wanted to have their freedom. People wanted to be out in the nature, out in the garden. They wanted to grow their own food. We've all seen how fragile the system actually is. But now that things are coming back to normal, you have those people that stayed with those ways of growing their own food, but you have the people that have started not caring, the people that started not caring as much, just leaving YouTube, leaving their channel, leaving whoever they were subscribed to. And there's also the fact that even myself, I can feel it. I don't have time to watch videos right now. And I feel like I want to support my friends. I do. I want to know what's going on in their lives. But let's just say, I'll give you an example. Okay, Darren from Thorhaven Farm. We talk on a daily basis. We have a group chat with a bunch of friends, pretty much family now. We have a weekend together, all of us, once a year at the Eastern Ontario Homesteaders Conference. And every day we post pictures and we talk about what we're doing, where our garden is at, what we're trying, different ways of doing stuff. We all do things different, but I want to support him because he's my friend, also because I enjoy his content. But at the same time, I'm at the point where I'm busy. And if I watch a YouTube video, it's because I actually want to learn something. And I'm not saying I'm not learning from Darren. Far from it. I am. But we're already talking about what we're doing on the chat. So I already know why he's doing what he's doing and what he's actually doing. Is my camera blocking a little bit, like flickering? I wonder why it's doing that. Do you guys see that? Or it's just me on my end? I'm pretty sure, like, every once in a while down here, there's a little flickering. I don't know if it's my internet connection that does that, but at the same time, I've had a bad internet connection a while back, and it wasn't doing this. Or it could be that my webcam is about to die, or it might just be that my computer is carrying a virus at the moment. So I don't know. No issues here. Sorry, I'm blowing the chat. Don't be sorry. The more people chat, the better it is for my channel, the better it is for my live stream. And once I actually catch up to your conversations, it will be easier for me to talk about whatever you want to talk about. That one got a lot of people. Whenever you do a giveaway, I mean, people join. People want to have free stuff. People want to support people, but with a giveaway, it gives them a little something more, a little extra reason to join you, I guess. Hello, Karen. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know it is important to be consistent, especially when getting started. So thank you for your support. You're welcome. I will go and watch some of your videos. Like I've said before, I might not be able to sit down in front of the computer and watch them all. I will give you a thumbs up. I might press play. I might be doing something else in the house. Come back, put another video, watch some bits and pieces of it, do some work, do some editing on my laptop while your video plays there. Listen to what you're doing or watching or keeping an eye open. As much as possible, though, I will support the people as much as I can. Yeah, I've seen the flickering just happen here, and I have my laptop there playing just because I don't want, especially for those reasons, if something happens, I don't want my computer to be the reason of something happening. So I have it open there, and I've seen a little flicker down at the bottom. Life is busy, definitely, especially this time of year. Um, Full production in my garden, full harvesting season now. Things are just crazy. I'm lucky that we did the meat chickens, a while back, and it's a good thing, I guess, in a way that my rabbits did not reproduce, because it would be time to put some of those rabbits in the freezer. Um, Although when I freeze them whole, we tend not to eat them for some reason. They stay in the freezer for long. What I want to do is cut the meat off the rabbit next time I do them, and grind it and do like rabbit burgers or something like that. Instead of chicken burgers, do rabbit burgers. It's hard to keep up, definitely. Our little gingerbread house. Thank you so much for stopping by. Good evening. I am trying to plan something in a few weeks, if possible, to go maybe early September if I'm free, to go visit the little nursery that you were talking about. I keep forgetting the name, but I know it's not too far from Moncton. I want to go when the grapes are ready because I want to go and try some of them. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I've seen someone do it where they would. She posted a video about a snowblower like early December, and I sent her a message. I said, "Do you guys already have snow? Like, we usually have snow before you, and we don't have snow." And she replied to me saying, "No, like, don't worry. This was filmed last year, but we're doing this way so that people actually see our video, and if they want to go buy a snowblower, they will do it now. They won't wait until winter is over or wait until the first snowstorm to go buy a snowblower. They want to get ready before the winter. And the people that wait until the first snowstorm to buy a snowblower, the video will still be there for them to view." I am already trying to think of ideas for content for the winter, be it indoor houseplants or hydroponics. Either that or depends on the direction you want to take with your channel. It's always better to have a focus on one specific thing. So if you do videos on gardening, it's always better to focus and stick on gardening. I did a mistake of making my channel a little bit more about homestead. And homestead in itself is not just one subject because it's a bunch of different things together. So YouTube algorithms don't really know what to do with my videos, because one day I'll be posting something about hunting. The next day I might be posting something about gardening. The next day I'm posting something about cooking the stuff from my garden. We still do activities. I might be doing a video on foraging. See, this is happening. Let me see. Yeah, it happened. I've seen it again. But someone doing videos on gardening only, how to start plants, how to take care of them. Like, and my gardener does a bunch of videos on gardening. The algorithms are pushing him at the right people. Someone doing hunting only videos will get the right crowd. But when it comes to homesteading, like I said, I'm focusing on growing / harvesting my own food. I want my goal is to save money on food. So this weekend I might be foraging mushrooms. Next weekend I might be preserving my gardening harvest. In a month from now I might be gone hunting. It's all different ways to save food, but they're all specific to different crowds. I am 6A. My last estimate frost is second week of October. The first frost, I mean. We'll get frost, but it's been pretty mild until mid-November these days. Wow, that's awesome. Usually, the last frost day for me would be around June 1st. And the first frost date is usually around September 15th. So we have 3 full months and a half of growing season. This year, I took a small risk with all my plants because when I was looking at the forecast, there was no frost for a week in advance, like the full week before June 1st. And I was able to plant my stuff, everything that goes in the ground, at least, went in the ground like a week ahead of what I usually do. I even had some stuff in the ground around the 20th of May. And we didn't have any frost. We've had a frost around the 22nd, 23rd, but obviously my seeds were still in the ground. Nothing was up, so it didn't affect them. And I mean, I planted peas and beans and cucumbers and things like that. By the time the frost hit, my plants were still not out of the ground, so it didn't bother them too much. Now, last year, we were lucky in the sense of I went moose hunting and we didn't get our first frost until after, and the moose hunting season is at the end of September. I think lately we're seeing like first frost more around early October, and they're not really like huge frost. It gets a little bit cooler at night, but during the day it's still very nice. So whatever we have, like if we have squash or zucchinis or a few crops like that, might be weakening off during the night, but they still have time to grow a little bit during the day. And I've been harvesting some corn, apples, and squash and zucchinis until around the 5th or the 6th of October last year. So my growing season is actually getting bigger and longer, which is kind of cool. If we have the same kind of weather this year, I mean, even if it just goes until 21st, 22nd of September, it's still an extra 2 weeks that I didn't have before. The only thing, like every perennial, I was talking earlier about how every perennial is growing about 2 weeks early compared to the last few years. The thing is, with all the annuals, I didn't know back in March that we were going to have a beautiful spring and a nice summer. So I still had June 1st as my last frost date, and I planted all my tomato plants and all my peppers and those other plants, preparing for June 1st. So if it's 8 weeks before last frost, well, I planted them, early April. So regardless of if it was nice 2 weeks ahead, it didn't matter because my plants were not ready to go outside yet. I started getting them accustomed to go outside, hardening them off at the end of May because I knew the weather was nice. We had beautiful days, and I knew I was going to save some time, especially for the tomatoes because I had a bunch of them in my greenhouse. I didn't plant any outside this year. Well, here I have some at the community garden, and I have some over on Sarah's property, and I have some in my greenhouse. But I don't have any in my garden per se. But cucumbers, zucchinis, they're doing great. Um, I'm gonna have some beans this year. I usually don't have beans here because, well, I think because I have a good ecosystem right now. Um, I have a lot of birds, and I was literally planting the beans. And as I was looking behind me, there was a bird eating my seeds. So it's kind of it's kind of hard to have a nice crop, nice plants when you can't even keep the seeds in the ground. Now I have a cat, and I'm pretty sure that he's going after the birds, especially since one of those tiny birds got stuck in one of my trellis the other day. I spent about 15-20 minutes trying to help him out because I didn't want him to get hurt. And I'm guessing he was hurt a little bit. He didn't want to fly away. I put him on the ground, and like 10 seconds later, the cat came out of nowhere and jumped on the bird. I got him to let go of the bird, but I'm pretty sure that once my head was turned, once I was gone, he went back after the bird. I'm just hoping that eventually the birds will leave my seeds alone. But I've had a lot of peas this year and a lot of cucumber. Like, I don't remember having cucumbers this big. I usually go with the market more cucumbers because those are the only ones I have success with. And, they get about this big, the big ones. This year, they are about this big. So they're about twice the size of what I usually get. And I was able to grow a bunch of English cucumbers. They're not as big, but a lot longer. And it was cool. I went outside to harvest them around supper time. My daughter was inside eating supper, and I put one of those English cucumbers. It was about this long and this big, and I had another one that was about this big but just this long. And I asked her which one she thought was the heaviest. And funny enough, they were precisely 1 pound and 2.7 ounces each. Was it 1 pound? Yeah, 1 pound. When you have a cucumber, just one cucumber more than a pound, it's a nice cucumber. And they were precisely same weight. One of them was like twice the size, twice as long as the other one, but the other one was twice as big as the long one. It was pretty cool. Winter is the best time to plan for the season to come. These days, I never stop gardening, even if it's just in my mind. Yeah. After I'm done with my live stream, I'll go outside to make sure the animals are fed for the night, because tomorrow it will be a warm day and I won't have time. I'm not going to be home because of my softball tournament. I want to make sure they have plenty of water and plenty of feed before I leave tomorrow for the day. And I will go take a look at my garden because I always do. I also have to go water some of my fruit trees because, like I said earlier, they're pretty much dying. Gardening blew up in 2020. I always wanted to return to gardening, but 2020 pushed me to actually do it. Yeah, same for me. I mean, I've had a small garden with a few beans and a few radishes, and every once in a while I would have carrots. But having time to learn, to look out on the internet, I've watched so many of MI Gardener's videos to learn how to do specific things, how to grow specific crops. I've learned so much from Justin Rhodes on how to take care of my animals and how to, sometimes it's not because you don't know it. It's just because you don't think about it. I mean, it only makes sense that you would want to have your chickens not too far from the house, but in a way that you have your compost close to your garden. And Justin Rose was able to teach me how to do that. So I just get out of my as soon as I go down the steps, I turn around a corner to go, because I didn't want to plant anything in front of the house. So as soon as you get on the side of the house, you start having the gooseberries, the apple trees. I have a small greenhouse, but it was full of weeds this year. I decided to just let it go. It's full of raspberries as well. I have to make sure they don't propagate in there, because I will lose my greenhouse. I will have to put it somewhere else if I have a bunch of raspberries growing in there. It will be full of bees and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to have raspberries in my greenhouse. And then as you keep walking behind the property, you have my fruit trees, my little food forest, my garden. Next to my garden, I have my greenhouse. And next to my greenhouse, I have my rabbits and my chickens. So I go out with food scrap. I can go on that side, give it to my chickens. If I go from my garden and I harvest weeds, or even if it's just radishes and I don't want to eat the leaves, I can pass on the other side and give it to my rabbits. I can take the rabbit poop, put it in my garden. I can take the chicken poop and put it around my fruit trees. It's not something that I would think of, but as I was building my food forest and my garden, I kind of, like, he's got a point. And then I started learning about how to grow the vegetables. I've never grown tomatoes before 2020 because I'm not someone to eat tomatoes. Then when I started talking about doing a huge garden, because let's face it, we weren't really sure what was going to happen in 2020. There was the toilet paper crisis. Around here, we had problems finding water in the grocery stores and bread. For some reason, people went crazy on those things. So at that moment, we didn't know, like, are we going to be able to buy fruits and vegetables, spaghetti sauce, and things like that in the grocery stores in the next few years? We didn't know. So I learned how to do all those things. I do my own salsa. I do my own spaghetti sauce. I pickled zucchinis and things like that. It was a good time to learn, and I learned so much. And when I started my channel in 2020, the first thing I said was, okay, everyone's doing it. Garden tour. I'm going to show you what I do. And from now on, if you are not gardening and you want to learn how to garden, just follow me. Do what I do. If I fail, you'll know, okay, don't do this because I failed. But I felt like I was always a week in advance of the people that wanted to learn from me, which was good in a way. And if I look back 4 years ago, I was harvesting maybe 300 pounds of food. Last year, I did 2,500. And I'm already over 100 pounds of food this year, and the garden is just starting to produce now. The only thing this year, my only regret will be that I will not have enough carrots. So I might need to buy carrots from someone growing organic carrots around. And I know exactly who to buy them from. Just a matter of, actually, I should send him a message on Messenger, ask him how much he sells his carrots for. Because if there's not a big difference between his and the grocery store, I can go and buy his carrots, knowing I know the guy, I know where he grows them, I know it's organic, and he's doing just the same thing I am. And I could just go and say, hey, you don't need to bring them at the farmer's market. I will just buy them all from you, depending on how much he has. Yeah, same here. I have, not a huge backlog, but I have like 3 to 4 videos that are already filmed that I can use. Yeah, same thing for me. And honestly, if you just put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. Um, I mean, it's kind of funny in a way that we often hear people saying, and I am one of those person. Like I'm not watching Google to learn things about life in general. Like you're not going to convince me that a person living in his basement knows more about specific subjects than specialists. I will listen to my doctor, and that's just me. That if you want to listen to something else, that's totally your choice. But I will listen to my doctor before I listen to some guy I don't know on YouTube. But at the same time, YouTube is there to teach us how to grow carrots, how to grow tomatoes. A guy like Luke from My Gardener, how can you not trust his judgment when it comes to garden? Because he has a business of selling seeds. He shows what he's able to harvest. He's showing you what he's actually doing and how it's working. Um, you know, if you believe that eating a specific herb will cure your cancer, go ahead and do it. I mean, that's what you believe. You've learned this. You can share a video on it. Like, I mean, I've been talking about how eating healthier is actually helping me with my stomach issues. Um, I feel more healthy since I have the garden. And not just that, but I hate wasting, and I hate wasting food. So having 20 cucumbers a week, well, guess what I'm eating now as a snack instead of chocolate bar? I'm eating the cucumbers. Last year, my snacks at work were cucumbers and peas. I also bring some radish pods every once in a while. I brought some strawberries. I will probably have some blueberries at some point. I brought some gooseberries this week. I mean, you don't get, it doesn't get better than this. You can go outside 5 minutes before you leave to work with your little container, grab your fruits, put them in, go to work. They're fresh. And I know I don't put pesticides on my fruits and vegetables. The only thing I did was this year I had to spray one of my apple tree because it was dying because it was infested by aphids and things like that. And I was told by a guy at the nursery to use this stuff. And he says, if you spray the stuff, don't go near the tree for about a week just because you don't want to breathe in those chemicals. But they will disperse at some point, and the water will clean them up and whatever, and it won't be a problem. But they're not a problem for me this year because that apple tree hasn't produced anything. So I was at the point where I had to choose between letting my apple tree die or trying to save it and wait a year or two for everything to just be gone. So I chose to fight fire with fire, I guess, or fire with water, depending on the way you want to see it. I put some chemicals on my apple tree, but it's alone in its own corner. It didn't affect anything else. And it was done before the flowers started coming out. It wasn't hurting the bees, and I've seen a lot of bees lately. So it never caused a problem, and it was never an issue with the wildlife around since it was done early in the spring. My apple tree is actually doing great. Like, the leaves are looking great compared to what they were last year. And it is still going to be better next year if I have some apples on that tree than the apples you get at the grocery store. Even if there was still some chemicals left in the ground going up to my apple trees, let's face it, it's still better than what you get at the grocery store unless you buy organic, and there's nothing telling you that it's actually organic what you buy in the grocery store. If they if they spray pesticides or anything like that on their orchard on a yearly basis, and I do it once every 10 years and I leave it alone for a year, and I don't spray on the second year, it's going to be better than what you get at the grocery store that's getting sprayed on every year. Someone is always live, so I tend to get caught up in lives more than videos. I found you through Thorhaven. I appreciate your knowledge about homesteading, gardening, and foraging. Thank you so much. It's always fun when you hear people say nice things. I actually met Darren. I found Darren's channel because when I started, I wanted to find people that were local. I was looking for someone homesteading in New Brunswick. I only found one, and it was Mapleberry Farm. It was a pretty interesting channel, especially at first. He was doing, like, he was getting pigs and chickens and things like that. Although he went up in subscribers pretty fast, and he built a house. And I mean, I don't need to build a house at the moment. I'm not saying I don't care, but it's not what I was looking for at that time. So I kind of let go of that channel a little bit, especially since they ended up finishing the house. They sold the house, they bought a new land, and started building another house from scratch on that land. Although they're great people, caught a few of their lives at first. But anyway, I was since I couldn't find many homesteaders in New Brunswick, I ended up looking for a homestead in Quebec. So guess what I found by searching Homestead Quebec? Well, I found Quebec Homestead, which is a channel built by Mallory, and it's now called Eco Life, if I remember correctly. It's Mallory. She was living with her husband at the time, with her daughter or daughters. I don't know if she has one or two kids. And when she started, I started pretty much at the same time. So we found ourselves on the same YouTubers group on Facebook and things like that. So I kind of started following her, but then she exploded. I mean, she's a woman. She has more chances than me right from the start. And she knew a little bit more about what to do, about algorithms. She knew more about how to make great thumbnails compared to me. She knew more about gardening. I was still at the point where I was learning. She exploded. And one of the first video I saw from her was when she went over at Darren's to talk about the passive greenhouse. And then that's when I started following Darren. And not too long after that, this girl comes to me out of nowhere on Messenger, talking about YouTube and gardening, and she's like, I hope you don't mind. I have a few questions. I was talking to Mallory, and she told me to talk to you because you were exactly where I am a couple of months ago. You exploded. Like, I was over 1,000 subscribers at that moment. I was monetized. That girl was Annie from Back to Basics Homestead. So for about a year, we chatted about the gardening, the YouTube. We helped each other out. And then on the Facebook page, small YouTubers page that we were on, there was this guy doing his first live stream, Tihan 141 Homestead. So I figured, hey, like, he's doing a live stream. I didn't start doing live streams yet, or did I at that time? I think I was already doing live streams at that time, but I was just starting. So I figured he's doing his first live stream. There's probably not going to be many people. I should go and show him some support. So I started showing some support to him, and then not too long after we were really supporting each other, um, he ended up on some of Darren's live streams. Hickory Croft Farm came in as well through Facebook. We started talking to each other because we were pretty much at the same point. Although they're, well, I call them the living encyclopedia because Chris and Steph, I mean, there's nothing they can't do. And then Maryland from Little Homestead by the Beach came out of pretty much out of nowhere. She was trying to find some homesteaders in Quebec, and she ended up finding Mallory and Darren. And then she's from New Brunswick, so through Darren she found me. And I see Dave saying found you and Darren through Mallory, right? So we ended up becoming this community, and now once a year there's also Me and New Acres, Mike and Angie, awesome people as well. We speak on a daily basis simply because we connected. I mean, we don't have the same political views, we don't have the same religious views, but we can talk about those things. We can respect each other about those things, but most of all, we enjoy gardening and homesteading and YouTube. So most of the time, we'll be talking about some of those things. We have a community going now, and it's not just the fact that we talk about YouTube, but we're also a family. We also have Patrick Cost in our group. Dave is pretty much in our group, although I don't think you have Facebook, do you? If you do, I need to find you. There's also, who else? Jack and Lindsay. They used to be called Wren's Homestead, but now they're called Good Timber Farm. They left Ontario to come here in New Brunswick, and I found them through Chris and Steph. They kept talking about Wren's Homestead, but at that time my channel was called Rem's Homestead. Rem for Remy, Rem's Family Farm. It was called Rem's Homestead, but then it was WREN, Wren's Homestead. So when I saw them on their live on one of Chris and Steph's live stream at some point, and they were saying that they were doing their own thing and they were living in Fredericton, which is only about 3 hours away from here in New Brunswick. It's like nice. Like, I have some people in New Brunswick to follow. So I started following them, and we became good friends. I mean, I go deer hunting with Jack. He came moose hunting with us. Last year we had a nice barbecue with oh, come on, what's his name? Gary and Betty from GBL, the Old Church Homestead. They live in Newfoundland, but they have some family in Fredericton. We had a barbecue all together. I mean, you make contacts, you make good friends. We all try to support each other. Everybody's busy, but it just shows that, you found me through Darren, but I ended up finding so many people through so many people. Even at some point, I was commenting on Facebook with my Rem's Family Facebook page, and this guy looked at me and he started watching my videos, and he's like, that guy's driving around. Like, sometimes I was driving in my car with the camera showing the road, or I was talking about where I was fishing and things like that, and you could see that it was familiar. And the more he was looking at my videos, the more he felt like I was living close to him. Turns out that he lives, well, he grew up 5 minutes away from here. He lives about 10 minutes away from where I live at the moment. But he bought a land, 100 acres, 4 minutes away. And when he found me, he added me on Messenger, and I'm like, okay, who's that guy? Should I trust him? And then we start chatting about homesteading and things like that. And turns out that when I had problems with the village where, they would not allow me to have my animals here, he proposed to me that I should bring my farm there, my barn, my building, the building there, and keep my animals there. He's like, obviously you won't be able to go there 365 days a year because he doesn't have a snowblower there in the winter. But from spring to fall, I have time to raise my turkeys. I have time to graze my chickens. It's giving me another option for my animal. Now, I had to file for consumer proposal last year because of inflation, cost of living, and such. But it's only for another 4 years. So, 4 years and a half. So at that point, I'm hoping to be able to save some money and put some money aside and buy a piece of land. He already told me that, he doesn't really want to sell. But since I'm already there, and since he's turning 60 years old, if not 61, he doesn't want me to end up with nothing if something happens to him. He's willing to maybe sell me like an acre, and it's all I would need. All I need is a place to put my barn, my animals, and with an acre, it's only 4 minutes away from here. And if I'm closer to the road, I don't mind going there in the winter, parking on the side of the road, walking in my barn. I can probably have electricity there if it's only, a few feet from the road, and I could actually have some animals there 24/7. I mean, I would leave the barn hidden in the woods a little bit, but if I can have a little entrance and, all I need is 1 acre, have the barn somewhere flat and have a way to get there, even if I have to put some Christmas lights in the winter. Because the problem I have right now is it's about maybe not a mile away in the woods, but it's going down. And in the winter, -40, I'm not going to go after work in the dark with feed, drag feed and water to the animals down there. And since I can't do that, I can't have animals there. But if it was closer with lights and I could have a place to park my car, even if there's a few storms, if I have a place to park my car and I don't have to walk more than a minute, then it's okay. I just park the car, get out, walk in the barn, feed the animals. I could even have a little heater in there if I needed it. Just something to have my animals safe, and I could have a rooster, and I could have some chickens there 24/7. I could have some pigs there, and it'd be my own place. Right now, I'm not allowed to have anything at home other than 4 chickens. I live in an agricultural village. I'm only allowed 4 chickens. I have a colleague living in the city. She's allowed to have 6. Someone explain that to me, because I don't understand. But at least there, it's considered farmland, and I'd be allowed to have whatever I want. I have heard the phrase, turn to my head, not my heart. And that is for me, because I don't watch videos much at all, but it's not for lack of want. When I do, I engage. Same for me. If I have 15 minutes to watch your live stream. The 15 minutes I'm there. I will chat. I will ask questions. Unless if I see there's 30 people chatting, and you won't even see my comments. I will watch. I will comment here and there, but I won't be as active. But if I go in the live stream and there's only 2-3 people in the chat, I will be active and show you that I care. No issues here. Sorry, I'm blowing up the chat. Okay, yeah, we're talking about the first frost. Yeah, it is early for first frost. Luckily, it's getting better with the years. You're right that niching down is important. However, if it works within your niche, I think it's doable. If I put the work in, if you put the work, yeah, it is doable because I reached 9,000 subscribers, but I don't have as many people watching my videos. And I have to promote my channel a lot. I have to promote my videos a lot. I'm always out there promoting, talking to people. There are some people watching me that I didn't even know. Like, I was at a family party a couple of weeks ago, my girlfriend's family, and one of her aunt looked at me and she's like, "Hey, I'm watching you all the time." Oh, cool. The fact that you see some people sometimes and they actually know who you are, even if you don't know who they are, because they're watching your YouTube channel. It's awesome. When you hear someone or you read someone saying that they're actually learning from you, even if I just help one person with my video, it means that it was worth it. Because that one person might do the snowball effect. You might help someone else. That person might help someone else. And with my one video, maybe I just directly impacted one person, but on the long run, it might be 100 people that were actually impacted by the information I give. I still have 100 days till first killer frost. You keep bragging. One day, Dave, one day you're going to get it. One day. I'll get you. I just pulled some carrots I planted in April. Nice. Found you in the errands for Mallory. I saw that earlier. I have found a great community on YouTube through gardening, and I can honestly say it has changed my life for the better. Totally. Marilyn is probably one of my best friends. Whenever I have a question, because I know that we see eye to eye on pretty much everything. If I have a question or a doubt about something, what do you think about this? What should I do with this? She's the one I will trust. Not that I don't trust other people, but she's more than just a YouTube friend, You might also enjoy GT Junior grows in Alaska, obviously gardener in Alaska, but he's always interested in pushing his limits and growing more indoors. If that interests you, he's a good guy. Let me check it out. JT Junior grows in Alaska. I do most of my gardening in Alaska. Okay. So he's kind of new on YouTube as well. I will watch a video, subscribe. I will leave the page open, and I will show him some support. And I will let him know that you send me over. In 5 years, the kid will be gone. All you need is a tiny house. Yeah, we talked about that, my girlfriend and I, for a while after I was in trouble with the village. We talked about moving. Thing is, I invested so much in fruit trees. I mean, we're talking about $2,000 worth of fruit trees on my property throughout the years. Not necessarily all stuff that I paid from my pocket, but I mean, if I pay $50 for an apple tree and I get 2 for free, well, it counted as $150 of apple trees. Because let's face it, if I decide to move and buy a new house and I have to start over, it might not be worth it. So I'm thinking more in the sense of staying here, but building something on a land somewhere, just buying land. Seymour is only 4 minutes away, and there's a bunch of places for sale. I know some people with land that don't really do anything with the land. They might be selling at some point. Even if I just get an acre from sales, I mean, I can do all my gardening here. Imagine if I did all my gardening here with all my fruit trees and stuff and all my animals at Serge. I wouldn't need anything else. CR, how's it going? I was actually about to leave, but I will stay a little bit longer. Hey, Dave. Excellent. Yeah, I will. I think the thing about YouTube is if you click subscribe and don't do anything, they might think you're a bot, and they might not consider you as a real sub. So you watch a video, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, then you subscribe. That way your subscription should stay longer. And yeah, I will leave the pages open. I'm very persuasive. Yeah, you don't have to twist my arm too much. If I have something to say and if you guys chat and I don't have to think about what I'm going to say next, I don't mind staying. But the last couple of live streams, after an hour, people are gone. I know it's beautiful outside. People want to do something else and listen to me talk about stuff that doesn't make sense. And, people leave. So if I'm alone for 15 minutes, I don't have anything to say. I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna leave. But if you guys keep me busy, I've been on for 2 hours and I was struggling after 45 minutes, and then you guys started coming in, and I didn't see the last hour and a half. I know what you mean. I was 26 when I bought my land. Yeah, all I need is a place to put my animals, and if I could do that, even if I just build a cabin, if I could build a small cabin, I'd be okay with that too. I don't need to have like a fancy house somewhere else. I could keep the house here. Also, this is the house where my kids grew. The 3 youngest kids were born in this house. Well, not in the house at the hospital, but I mean, they only lived here. So it's kind of sentimental a little bit. I even thought for a while of maybe selling this house and moving in my parents' house once they're gone. But you never know. I might be gone before them. My grandparents all lived until they were in their 90s, except for my grandma. She lived until she was 89. And my other grandma lived until she was 58. But she died from a heart attack, and there was some issues in the family. My mom is turning 60 this year. My dad is 66. Just turned 66. So they should still have a good 30 years to go, hopefully. Well, my mom should have at least 30 years. My dad might have around 25. In 25 years, I'll be 65. Man, I feel old. But who knows? If something happens, the house might go to one of my kids. You never know. But I want the kids to be able to come here and call it home, even once they're gone. Yeah, I have people to my watch list first, then subscribe. That's the way to go. I create a separate playlist than the standard watch list. Okay. I often had some videos in my watch later list, and sometimes I'll go and watch the list. Sometimes I also realize that I watched some of the videos in that watch later list. Um, let's say that you post a video and I don't have time to watch it. I'll put it in my watch later list. But in a month from now, maybe I didn't have time to watch it, and I'll just be scrolling on YouTube. It'll pop up. I'll watch it, and then in a month later again, I'll be scrolling through the list, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I've watched this video. I'll look. Oh, I commented, so I watched it. Delete from my list. It happens too. I was moving dirt around. Always fun to do. Engagement matters. I also enjoy learning about the YouTube's in and outs. Yeah, there's Marcus something, Marcus Jones. I don't know. There's a lot of YouTubers out there showing you what to do with your videos and things like that. Marcus Jones has a way to explain how the algorithm works, how things in general work. He did the test with a channel he didn't want to name because he didn't want to get into trouble, but he did the test of what would happen with your organic growth if you paid like a company for views and things like that. Let's say you put $5 for 100 views. I don't know how it works. I don't know how much it will cost, but let's just say you pay $5 for 100 views. It might give you 101 view. It might cause YouTube to see your video as being watched, so they will promote it a little bit more. But none of that matters if you don't have a good thumbnail, because yes, it might promote your video more to a broader audience. But if you don't have a good thumbnail and they don't click on it, they don't want to see the video, if you don't have a catchy title, then it's all for nothing. And even the promotions from YouTube does pretty much the same thing. It creates a little bit of activity on your channel, but not as much as someone that will grow naturally. And I mean, I forgot to name Lynn from Bucket List Homestead. She's in our group too. Her channel at some point before Christmas last year, I think we both crossed. I think it was either 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers, like within a couple of days of each other. I'm at 9K. She's at 20 something K right now. She started posting videos about what she does in the kitchen, and she found what people liked about that, and she kept going, and the algorithms pushed her up. She made a bunch of new subscribers, and she's doing great. We always want to do more. We always want to have more views, want to have more subscribers. We always want to get paid more. Unfortunately for me, even though I'm monetized, I'm only getting like $100 every 4 to 5 months, which is not much. But every once in a while, I'll get someone that just sends me, what's it called? Super chat or a super sticker or, oh, what? Really? Cool. There you go. Let's see what happens. Lots of barrels of dirt. That's awesome. So I have some people that won a free membership that I don't even know who they are. cool. Okay. Nice. So LP, you want a free membership. And if you're a member, 99 cents or $2.99, you have extra perks. You get to see some videos before the others. You get to see some pictures from behind the scenes. I try to post. There was a time where I posted pretty much daily, at least pictures, but sometimes I forget. But yeah, you have a few videos that are for members only. The ones that I don't want people to see as much, I tend to put them there. Things that don't really involve homesteading, I will put them in the member only. Yeah, thank you. I'm pretty proud of it. I mean, the fact that 9,000 people clicked subscribe to my channel, that's awesome. I mean, how can I not like it? Yes, you did. And yeah, that's what I did. And I have another 5 more memberships to give. And let's see who wins this time. Boom. So the first time we've had LP, Randasita, Roger Cormier, Fisherman 506. So Lee was here earlier. You won a free membership. Reynold won a free membership. And this time, Didi, Anisha, Chris Creation Fun, Wildlife, Don Ray B won a free membership. Yeah, but 10K is so great. In real life, imagine having 9,000 folks show up to something you host. I know, right? I tried to have a huge birthday party when I was turning 18, I think, in a gravel pit. There must have been 100 people that came. The problem is none of them came at the same time. So a car came. There were 5 of them in the car. Oh, people are not here yet? Okay, well, we'll come back later when there's more people, and left. And then another car arrived. Same thing. Oh, people are not here yet. Well, we'll come back later. Turns out that the most we've been at the same time was about 15, but there must have been over 100 people that came throughout the night total. I tried to do a seminar here locally about permaculture. I think there was only like 3 people that subscribed and registered, and the 3 that registered were actually the people helping me organize it. There was no one interested. I don't know if it's just a time of year because we did that in July. So I'm guessing maybe people have better things to do in July than sit inside, listen to someone teach them. So we will try again this winter to see if there's more people interested. But yeah, imagine if I did that and there were 9,000 people. You have a lot of great information to share as you follow your path on what you want to share. You already have a great foundation. Well, thank you so much. That's very nice of you to say. Yeah, well, with a family of 5 kids, I've always said that my goal was to grow as much food as possible. It kind of sucks this year that I don't have a moose tag. Although I decided that since I'm not going moose hunting, I will have more time to prepare for bear. So I will go bear hunting and I will go deer hunting. I also have to buy my deer tag. This will be done on Tuesday, and then I have to apply for doe tag because here in New Brunswick, for moose, it's a draw. If you get drawn, you're only allowed to hunt in a specific zone. But the zones are pretty big. There's like 300 tags in the zone I hunt, but there's like 5,000 people applying. And then if you get drawn, you're allowed to hunt whatever you want, whether it's a bull or calf or a cow. Um, and there's a lot of them. Like, success rate is like officially around 80%, but there's always people that don't even go hunting. They get a tag thinking they're going to save a moose. Some people just get the tag just to go in the woods to play cards, to have a week away from life. Some people will not hunt for anything under 50 inches of rack, so they might see 30 moose during the week, but they won't shoot them because they're not big enough. There's also some people that I know that hunt in groups, and I've heard some people getting like 3 tags for a group of 5. But once they get 2 moose, their hunting is done. So that 1 extra tag goes as unfilled, which puts the numbers higher. There's also always that very, very unlucky person that just doesn't see a moose. But personally, I've been moose hunting maybe 15 times in my life, and I've had a moose each and every one of those times. Yeah, it was a huge party. And for deer, we're allowed to hunt pretty much everywhere except for like 3 zones. The zone I'm in, obviously, I'm not allowed to hunt deer. I go down Fredericton next to Jack and Lindsay's. I'm allowed to hunt deer every year, but I can only hunt bucks. They need to have antlers. Although there's a draw for antlerless deer. Last year we had a tag for doe. We need to apply. It's the season for applying right now. I'm just waiting on my next paycheck to buy, because you need to buy the license before you can actually apply for doe tag. So I will buy my license and apply for the doe. It's only like $4 to apply for the tag, for the doe tag. But for bear, you just buy your license and you can go. It's not a lottery. You just buy your tag and you can go. I think it's around $39.50 or $41.50, something like that. It's around $40. But there's a lot of bears. There's so much bears that now you can buy your tag in spring. If you don't harvest a bear, your tag is still good in the fall. But if you do harvest a bear in the spring, you can buy another tag for fall season. So in theory, I could get 2 bears. But the problem is, in the spring, I'm always busy with the garden stuff. It's fishing stuff. I didn't even have time to go fishing this year with the conference, the garden, all that stuff. I didn't have time to go bear hunting. Although I have the lumber right now to build a little stand, I just need to find a place to go and build one where I know not many people will go. People won't bother me. People won't bug me. And where it's not too far that I can actually go and make it. And a place where I can walk on my way back home, even if it's dark, without getting lost in the woods. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have a stand like 2 kilometers in the middle of nowhere. And I want to have a place where I can go without making too much noise, but without cars driving not too close. You know what I mean? So, and the bear, it's very easy to hunt because all it takes is 5 days for them to fall into a routine where if you put feed there for them, they find your feed. You feed them the next day, feed there the next day, they'll go back. After 5 days, you can go there every day, make noise, sing, whatever, put the feed in the barrel, leave. The bear goes and find the feed. You do the same thing the next day. You go there, you make noise, you sing. On day 6, or might be on day 5, but they say it takes 5 days. So maybe, let's say on day 6, you can go there, no feed, Start talking loud, sing, do the same thing you did on the first 5 days. Sit in your stand, wait, and the bear will come for his feed, even though there's no feed. You have to be careful because sometimes the bear can go up the tree, and you don't want to have the mama bear with her cubs around. I don't think it's legal to hunt a bear with the cubs. Although I always wonder, like, even if I get a female, there's no way for me of knowing if there's cubs around or not if I don't see them. So how would a forest ranger know if there was cubs around or not unless they find you on the spot actually hitting the mama bear with the cubs around? Not saying I would do it. It's not what I'm saying, but I mean, if I see a bear coming alone and I have a shot, I will take it. I need to put meat in the freezer. I mean, I've watched Alaska Last Frontier, and they go bear hunting and they eat the black bear, and apparently it's very, very good meat. And I was talking to Randall, a friend of mine, a couple of weeks back, and he was telling me that if I put a moose steak and a bear steak on a table and I ask you to taste them, you will not know the difference. I am not 100% sure because I basically eat moose meat once a week. I was lucky enough to have moose meat pretty much every year in the last couple of years. In the last few years, I've never had bear, but I guess it could probably taste similar. I have to go, but I've enjoyed talking with you. Have a great, safe weekend. Thank you so much. I've been on for 2 hours and a half, and I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning, and it's 10:15 my time, and I'm hungry. It's a good time for me to go. I will leave as well, so take care, everyone. Yin, you are very welcome for the membership. It's free for me anyway. I can give away 10 memberships per month for free. I could actually give some more, but I would have to pay for them. And then if I pay for them, only to make that money at the end of the line and having to declare that revenue, I mean, it's kind of pointless. So by giving 10 away, especially today, the 10 I give, they were for new people, new channels. So I get new people to see my stuff, and maybe at some point someone will decide that he wants to stay a member because he enjoys what he's seeing in the background. So it's a good time for me to start posting more stuff. All right, take care, everyone. Good night. Have a nice weekend, and keep growing food. And it's a good way to save money. And I will talk to you again probably Sunday morning. I'll probably have another short live stream, even if it's just 30 minutes. I always go live at 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday mornings, unless I have something else. I will be talking about my softball tournament, probably tell you how it's been going, and probably talk some more about gardening. All right, guys, take care, and I will leave you with a little bit of music just because I enjoy music. Take care.